Good afternoon, welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. We're about a minute and a half away from a one-loss side match. Match between Tommyue and Bankster, race to 150 in the VP4 2020 Straight Pool World Championships. In the meantime, we've just got enough time, there's a match there, just got enough time to mention that, excuse me, LS3 is going to be playing Bankster on January the 16th at 9 PM. I'll see the start of that, but I won't see the finish of it because that's on a working day. And also the other bad news is that that Bill and Stubb have arranged their match for the same day at midnight, so I won't be there for that one either. And there's nothing on the winner's side because obviously matches have to be updated across here, but the match that's still to be arranged is Cobra Hazard, sorry, not Hazard, where the hell is it? Cobra and Larry, they've still to arrange their match. So that is the bracket up to date. Good afternoon, Mark. And well, wait to hear this one. This old headset that I've got, this is true. Would you believe it, I caught my foot on the cable the other night again, and the USB on the headset looks to be loose. It's not the USB socket in my PC, because I plugged the headset into another USB round the back, and occasionally the audio is cutting out and it's going to my PC speakers instead. So this headset's in its last legs, and if it goes down before the, well, hopefully I get the tournament final, if it goes down, then I can't exactly go in and buy a headset over the counter.
Cordless for clumsy numpties K.
Well, I looked at cordless ones yesterday and
Bill.
What do you call
Hi
them?
everyone.
Not cordless, but what do you call them again? Bluetooth as well. I saw those ones, but then I realised I was looking at the wrong headsets. It was actually just headphones. It wasn't, it wasn't headsets with mics, and that was in Tesco when I was out shopping yesterday. I didn't like the look of them. We'll get this cloth colour set, default colour and blue. So, well, I typed in the chat and gave Bankster a message with some tactical advice, got no response, so presumably he's sitting there asleep. And Tommyue's just arrived, he's in the room, but Bankster, no sign of life yet. So I think there'll only be the three of us here, because I don't think many other people are around. I was looking at some of the headsets on Curry's as well. I mean, 220 odd pound for a headset, cordless stuff. That's far too much.
Stefook 1158. Amazon K.
Well, if Bankster's in front of the PC, they will already have had the audible alert.
Daya is nomad. Bankster is from Kuwait, his English ain't too good. Stefook 1158. I sent you a link FB for wired set K.
Well, I haven't looked at that.
Larry Jl. Logotech G935.
That's a mouse, isn't it? I'm just looking for a headset with a mic and a USB
Larry
connection.
Jl. Headset wireless.
Not interested in wireless. Wireless doesn't even come into consideration. I can't be asked charging stuff and remembering to do it and then of course the thing's cut out while you're in the middle of a stream. That's not a route I'm going to go down. Well, what time is it? We are, what, 3 minutes and
Larry,
counting.
you can use wire. Stefook 1158. He don't like change, Larry.
No, I don't like the idea of wireless mice, because I don't like having to pulling my what USBs I've got left up with bloody adapters for the receiver and all of that stuff. No, I'm not having it.
Larry, if battery down you can use the charger cable. Der ist Nomad. Foot wireless BS.
Well, I'm reckoning that if it's Logitech, it won't be cheap. What ones was it you said? G935. So that I'm guessing that over here, I mean, they might be $40 in the States, but over here, well,
$125.
Right, $125. I bet you that's at least 80 quid over here, and I ain't paying that amount for a headset anymore. I've had 3 sets of headsets that were over 100 quid, and they were all crap.
Cobra 4. Hi everyone. Stefook 1158. I have those Larry best headset I've had, Larry.
Good afternoon. Well, the favourite for this match is going to be Tommyue. Where did we say Bankster was from? Well, he's got a Kuwait flag, and Tommy's from Germany. So, Tommyue won the lag, has put Bankster into break, so let's see what the break's like. And absolutely no practice been made in the break by Bankster. The evidence is clear there, and he hasn't hit a rail either, but Tommy will just play from there. So it's going to be a while before I get another match in this tournament, so make the most of this one. People setting matches for bloody midnight and 9 o'clock at night.
Cobra 4. I have sent Larry a few times for weekend. Der ist Nomad. You muted Yusulf Hugh. Larry, gonna be 7 p.m. your time. Cobra 4. That's fine. Cobra 4. Saturday or Sunday? Larigel. 16th. Cobra 4. We can't hear you, Hugh. Dea ist nomad. He is trying to fix it now. Stefuk 1158. He's working on it. Larigel. His headset is broke. Dea ist nomad. Check room chat. Dea ist nomad. LOL okay.
Right, can you hear me now?
BZZZ.
Say yes if you can hear me, because it's probably going to cut out again. I have to sort of twist the cable to
Stefuk 1158
to get the connection to work. It'll probably go again, but if I'm going to chat, I'm going to chat in the lobby so that you know what's happening, but you've got a fair idea what's happening.
Dea ist nomad. You're back.
How the hell did bankster end up -2? Was it just two files not getting to a rail? Because I missed that bit messing about with this cable.
Larigel. Bad break prob.
That one's annoying me. That one that popped up there from the chat lobby thing. Right, what was you guys saying about arranging a time there? Because I saw something in the chat, but again I was busy. Well, here we go. Might be across the table twice though, because he's too high in the 7, I think.
Aiming 8612. It was an illegal break, yes.
Looks like 2 rails from here. He could miss the top of the pack and then coming back off that right rail. Oh, he's managed to do it.
Cobra 4.
Again, I should have been around.
Looks like Saturday 7 PM.
Oh, Saturday 7 PM's fine. I can make that even though I'm working Sunday. So it looks very much like end of run here for Tommy, unless he wants to take on a bank in the 14, but he's going to have to draw up the table.
Stefuk 1158.
Looks not bad.
New headset by then K.
Well, the problem is even if I was to order something off Amazon, I'm not going to be home to receive it. Well, he's going to call the bank.
Neighbor K.
No, the thing is, a lot of these companies now don't take your signature at the door anyway. That I was reading on one of the can't remember where I've seen it, but they take a photograph of your house to prove they've been at the address. Oh, that's
Cobra
used
4.
all the pocket.
Or locker. Der ist nomad. LOL neighbor. Larry Jill. Ups gives all kind of options for delivery.
So Tommy could probably just drop this 12 in and get on the 11, or even just kill it, but he's looking to go for the 3, I think.
Der ist nomad. Neighbor downstairs with one eye.
Oh, I think he's got lucky there, because another fraction of an inch and he was blocked out. He can still see the 5. Now that 11,
Aiming 8612.
that's too tight, that doesn't
I hate
go.
when they require a signature, because then sometimes the delivery guy claims you didn't answer even if you were waiting by the door.
And I hate signing those bloody tablet things with a plastic pen. In fact, one guy turned up at the door once, he didn't have the plastic stylus thing, and he gave me a pen, told me to use the you know, the, I can't even think of the name of it, you know, the bit that covers the end of the pen, use that end of it to try and sign your signature, and it looks bloody, it looks horrible, it looks like you've made the signature up. Well, that 6 ball
Der
looks
ist
good.
nomad.
Looks a good shot
Since
to me.
covered there are no signatures with deliveries K.
Now, why isn't he taking that as a break shot there? That 6 ball was perfect, and that 11 is too tight, and he's not on.
Der ist nomad.
He's not on
They
a
just
shot
take a
apart from the
photo of
6.
parcel on doorstep.
Well, he should have taken the 6 there. He wouldn't have been in this shape. Where's that cue ball ending up? You've guessed it, almost. So, Bankster had the shot on the 6 ball and completely ignored it. And again, I fear for his time in this tournament if he doesn't take on shots like that, because that was the one you needed to break those in the cluster there. And now it's asking a lot to get good on one of these balls, obviously the 11, and the 8 is straight, so he can try a draw. Might just draw into the 11, might go into the middle between the 11 and the cluster. Well, he's got them. He's also got a break ball there anyway. The 4 ball is there. The 1 ball will do. So, what ball will be the good ball to get in this 4 ball, if that's the one he's decided on? And that 11 ball is dead straight, so there's not many options off this. You can pinch an angle off the 11, but ideally it would probably have been better to have been playing the 11 as a 3rd last ball, then the 15 up the table, to make it easier to get on the 4.
Larry Jill. 2 inside for setup.
Yeah, well, the 2 in the side is fine, but the problem is where he is now. That's the problem. He's got to get good on this 1, and the angle he's got in the 1 is too much, so he's got to watch the weight and try and come out almost just off straight in the 2, and he's looking at the 2 instead. So again, the shot choices are not great for getting good on this 4 ball. That's provided that the 4 ball's been nominated as a break shot. In fact, you know what we should have in this game? There's a good
MR
idea.
Shark 4488. Morning here anyway.
Good morning or good afternoon now. You know what should be a good idea? You should have an option to nominate your break ball for viewers so that we know exactly what they're doing. So that it's on the screen and it says nominated break ball is the 4 ball, and then we know actually what they're planning. But I mean, look at where he's ended up. This is no good. That needs to just slow up, but the further up the table it goes, the worse it gets, because the straighter it gets. That's passable. Now again, if Numpty Head arrives in this stream, we'll just have to kill the text to speech again, and there's what happens. It just dies, stone dead. But that's not a difficult escape route. The 12 ball, that's fairly easy to pot. Guaranteed to be on the 3 ball. If he hits this nice and gentle, he can be on the 11. But he just wants to roll this until it gets to the pocket and no more. Well, he's going to be on the 3, so again, before you pot the 3, you come up the table and look at what else you've got. You may well have to just run through and take the 11 into the middle, because there's not a great choice here and things have been blocked off, so he's got to play for the 11. And once again, if you're thinking right and you play from the 11 from there, not like that though, in a much better line than that, like this, then at least you can get in and move things. And we'll see if he's thinking, because there's no shot on unless he just cuts that too. Well, he's trying to get in, taking a risk, because it's never reliable. That is just relying on getting on a ball. Got to play for the ball. Now, of course, having said that he could have potted the 11 earlier there, the 11 ball sitting ideal for a break shot the way it is right now, but the chances of it remaining there are maybe fairly slim. It may well get nudged around. So John Higgins has played Mark Allen from Northern Ireland in the Masters tournament, and he's played him 4 times over the years and he'd never beaten him, and he was up 5-3 last night in the first of 6. John Higgins and Mark Allen come back, took it to the final frame, but Higgins managed to get through in the end. And that what was the other match? That Yan Bingtao against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Yan Bingtao was 3-0 up, and O'Sullivan come back to win that. I think was it a final frame as well. There was a couple of close matches, and then I saw highlights of the Neil Robertson match. I think he was in front. Can't remember who he was playing though. Anyway, that 11 ball is gone, and well, he's going to have to get into this 4 ball with a bit of inside right, so that he can hit that short rail, and the check will bring the cue ball back towards the cluster and move something. Because he's got too much angle to hold for anything here, so he's got to get into them. Now, if you look at it, he's playing it plain ball from here, unless he thinks he can get it thin enough. Well, he's going top left. Now, you watch where the cue ball ends up, because if it's top and left, he ain't going to get there. You see what I mean about not knowing the shot, and you know, you have to learn the basics of the game and how to move that cue ball. And when you look at what Bankster was doing there, with the greatest respect to him, he didn't have a clue, and that is well out of his depth to still be in this tournament. So his chances of winning this match are going to be fairly slim. He's got a potter's chance in terms of potting a ball, but in terms of actually stringing anything together that is going to put Tommy under pressure, I would say that the chances of that are fairly slim when he can't get a basic shot right there. You have to know the shot you need to play. But again, in his defence, it's all about learning, and if he watches enough of the game and he watches enough players playing it, then that's the sort of things you should be looking to pick up. You've got to learn those shots. I mean, that is a shot everybody has to learn, on how to deviate that cue ball to your own benefit. And of course, as soon as you start putting side or English on the cue ball, then there's a lot of other factors come into play. The way that ball squirts out of line when you play the shot, you've got to compensate for all of those things, which then of course makes the game a lot more difficult. But Bankster, I'm afraid, with that shot, he was at a loss as to what to do there, and he could have easily, with a bit of inside right, got into the back of those balls. So Tommy keeping it tight, and quite right just to bide his time. So a tiny little feather on that 7. There's a little gap before it gets to the 4, so it's perfectly feasible to play a little feather edge of that 7 and get right up the table into that top corner. And he should, I mean, he's looking to, I mean, there's no combo on here, so he's got to skim off the 7. I mean, that's the shot. Just light as a feather. Just a scrape of paint off that ball. That was thicker than he needed. He's left Tommy a possible cut, but he's got distance. Now, if Tommy's going to go for this, he's going to have to go hell for leather for this 4 ball, because there's no way he's holding for anything here, and the only ball that does go is the 7 if you get on it at a certain angle, and he's going to do it. And that's a good shot. Okay, he can pot the 7, I think, or can he? No, he can't even do that. I thought he could pot the 7. The 7's blocked out, so he's just going to punch it up the table and try and lock the cue ball behind the 8 and 13. Might not punch it up hard. Well, he's actually hit it too hard because he's left his 7 exposed. But the idea was right, to just, if he'd hit that softer, he could have killed the cue ball and left that 7 down table in the middle, and that way Bankster wouldn't have had a sight on it. Well, there is an angle that you can use to try and get a clip on these 2 balls. It's something like that. Something like that. That's the angle he would try. Again, you've got to play it maybe with a wee bit of help in English, or stun it firmer. Now, sooner or later, we would expect Tommyue to start the construction of some sort of run that's going to take him into the lead. But just 2 points in it at the moment. Bank was called. It's the wrong side of this 13. How does it look from his end? Well, it's not bad. Again, you need to go forward with a little bit, maybe a little bit of inside, just to try and come across and clip something. I mean, there's no danger of scratching in the middle pocket as long as you go forward, but he's looking to cut it in the middle pocket, I think. And there's a danger of scratching now because of the thin he gets, the thinness that he has to get this means he's going to run off the right side of that pack. And you know where the cue ball can end up from that shot.
66. Hello Poolians.
I see that Poolians is on. I mean, it's been on Steam for a while, but I see it's on there as a 2D game, which will obviously be the free version, and then they want you to subscribe to get the 3D version of it. I wonder if Q-Sticks is still at Poolians. It's been a long time since I went to that site. I wonder if he's had enough of that place or they've had enough of him. That's a good safety. Now, I just like to play this with a wee dab of right, just to punch it off that rail.
Low M8. Potman 66. Is it any good?
No, it's shit. That's the answer to that question.
Steefook 1158. He's running the show now. Potman 66. End off.
I mean, apart from the fact it's they want like $30 or something for the
Deist Nomad.
The full subscription.
Stykes. That crim/hacker from VP3.
That's Stubbs, buddy. Q-Sticks. The last I heard anything about Q-Sticks, and I don't know whether you guys are the same, but the last time I heard he was sending, I presume he was sending abuse to Steve, and he get permanently banned. But anybody with enough knowledge would easily get round that. So it's either that or he's in jail, one of the two.
Larry Jl. He friended me a few months ago. Deist Nomad. He was in prison Oswell.
So we're all square, 20 points all. We had a bit of sleet here this morning, but I understand that the East Coast and
Steefook 1158.
the higher ground's been
Not
getting
seen
a fair
shot caller either.
dump of snow. No, he's dead. Shot caller died. As far as the
Deist
last time
Nomad.
I heard.
He's dead, Mark.
It's amazing what happens with old BP3 players. You never hear from them, and then you know,
Steefook 1158.
and then you come onto a stream and you suddenly hear that he's dead. Yeah, he's gone as well. And the thing is, on Facebook, which I found out a few months ago, you can go into your account, which John Slingblade never did, and nobody has done, I don't think, but you can go into your account and I think you put in the details of somebody who'll deal with your account after you kick the bucket. So at least people who maybe were in your friends list who haven't heard anything and haven't seen you post anything and don't get a reply or anything can know that you'll no longer be posting anything. You can go into your account. If you've got a Facebook account, go into it and make sure you activate that. I haven't done it in mine, but you can, I believe, deal with the process after you've kicked the bucket and you ain't no longer going to be around to manage your account. John Slingblade's account's still on Facebook and it will be forever until they administer it in one way or another.
Deist Nomad. Make sure you do that, Hugh, so we know when you snuff it.
Well, you'll know when I snuff it. I'll not be here. Simple as that. If there's ever a week goes by and I'm not here, it's either one or two reasons. It's either one, I've got a serious dose of COVID and I'm hospitalised, or it's two, I've been slumped dead and lying in shit and piss for a week in front of the PC until the neighbour finally realised and wondered what the smell was. That's basically that's how I'll go.
Hotman 66. Enough already lol.
Well, that's cheered everybody up, hasn't it? And this all started with Mark saying, haven't seen Shot Caller.
Dea ist nomad. LOL. Stefook 1158. Any relatives, Hugh?
Nope. Well, I do have relatives, but I haven't spoke to them for must be getting on for 20 odd 30 years now. And the last time I went to a funeral was my mum's sister, one of my aunties, and I went to that.
Keith Malcolmson.
And that was the last
What
time
have
I was
walked
there.
into?
That was, in fact, I never even spoke to anybody at the funeral. I just went to the service, out the door, in the car and gone. Yeah, that's the last time I've had anything to do with them. Yeah, I am all alone in the world, folks. You've walked into a bloody mortuary, Keith. That's what you walked into. This is how to depress your viewers in one session.
1158. Cheerful Charlie here. MR Shark 4488. You could wear depends every time you're on the computer.
You could wear depends. Right, is that a bad translation, that one? I'm glad I've got this text-to-speech on, because I don't understand what that means, Mr. Shark. You could wear depends every time you're on the computer.
Larry Jill. Adult diapers. Mr. M. LOL.
And now I'm totally lost. I'm bewildered now. Oh, is that the name of a brand of diapers for adults? We call them tenna ladies over here, or tenna men. You've got tenna men.
Depends
Mark.
are American nappies. Larry Jill.
Yes. Tenna men are over here. They're like a baseball's or a cricketer's box, as they call it.
Stefook 1158. No Hugh. By BLO. Yes.
It'll just be the same thing. It'll be tenna men, but it's under a different brand name, probably. Anyway, Bankster's got himself into the lead.
B11TME. We are your family, Hugh.
Yeah, and then well, that's two straight. Now let's have a look at this pack just in case there's anything. Well, not really. Not from that side there isn't, but from that side there might be. That 8 ball is going
Stefook
to the
1158.
jaw.
God help him, LOL.
Well, he's managed to squeeze a line there, and he's broke a couple out, and he's on the 10, and he's got a little angle in the 10.
Dea ist nomad.
Probably
LOL
worth a
true
little nudge. I thought you were going to burst into Sister Sledge there, Keith. I've been watching, you know something, I've been watching some programme, usually when I get home from work. If I finish in an early shift about 10:15 and I get home about 10:30, I've been watching some of that Sky Arts channel that's now on Freeview. Any of you guys watch that? There's some bloody good documentaries on that. So there is. I've watched a fair few of them. They'll probably end up just going full circle and end up being repeated, but I've watched quite a lot of sort of profile documentaries that they do. There was one on this morning. It was what's his name? Oh shit, him that was in Easy Rider.
Potman 66.
What do you call me?
Even Stubbs' family, he just needs a bit of TLC.
He was in, what was that film with Brando?
Deist Nomad. Interesting channel.
He was in Apocalypse Now. Dennis Hopper. And I heard a little, and I think the reason it caught my eye this morning was because I saw a little video on YouTube. There wasn't any video, it wasn't actually a video, it was just like a still picture of him, but it was like 1:50, and he was talking about how Marlon Brando he refused to appear on in the same scene with Hopper. Marlon Brando didn't like him. Of course, Dennis Hopper was on the drink and drugs for most of the time anyway. But Brando had his reasons for not wanting to deal with him at all. And that film went months and months over the time in making it. And what's his name?
Nomad.
Martin Sheen had a heart attack during it as well.
Freeview, that's why he made Sky Arts free.
Well,
Potman 66.
Okay, it's a good channel.
Nice split.
It is a good channel. A lot of good documentaries on it. Well worth a watch, especially when you're getting it for nothing.
Larry Jill. They had a misunderstanding at dinner.
I think it must have been bigger than a misunderstanding from what Dennis Hopper was saying. And then I saw what was the other thing? I saw another clip on YouTube, and it was who the hell was it? I don't know whether it was Graham Norton's show or it was some chat show, and they were talking about Brando, and I think it might have been Graham Norton, and it was obviously, I'll tell you who it was. It was what was that film that he was in? You know, it was probably one of his last movies that he made, Brando, where he was actually
Potman 66.
He was basically playing the character
Best
that
Dennis
he played
Hopper
in.
Movie.
He was playing the same characters that he played in The Godfather. Was it The Freshman? It was called, with Matthew Broderick and
Larry Jill.
Yeah,
The Freshman.
I watched a clip of that, I think, and I thought it was hilarious because it was just exactly the same character he was that he was in The Godfather. But I think they were saying that he wore an earpiece, believe it or not. He didn't learn lines, which is crazy. Can you imagine an actor doing a scene in a film and he's got a well, whether you want to call her a secretary or whatever, but he had her reading the lines to him in an earpiece, and he had to obviously wait until he got his lines from her, until he said his lines in a scene with that guy I was talking about, whose name I've forgotten again. Weird.
Bank it.
Well, Bankster, is he going to prove me wrong here? He's got a lead of 20. Well, this is all the better for making it a good match, because if other Bankster gets away, the more that Tommyue has to do something when he gets in. And the 10 ball could be the break shot. 15 ball if he rolls it in.
Potman 66.
And he gets an angle
Red
on the
Rock
11.
with Hopper / Cage, a good movie.
Now, he can kill the cue ball, or he can just roll through. Well, once again, it's a similar shot to he had before. Now he's going a little bit of top and a little bit of right this time. Well, why he didn't do it the first time he had that shot that we were talking about, I don't know why. Is he listening to the stream? because all of a sudden he's played the right shot. That's weird. That's even weirder than the first shot that he played, when he didn't do the same thing to get into the pack. So now we have the possibility of, well, that 2-ball, I think if you look at it from that way, it's outside. If you look at it from that way, it's almost in there. But the 10-ball still looks the better shot, even though it's right at the top of the pack. But it's the same old question.
Rachel. Top down.
Will he get there? Well, here's your top down view, Larry. That doesn't answer much, does it? In fact, you can't zoom in the top down view, which is not good. That's something Steve needs to fix. But then if you go like that, and then you zoom in that way, you've got to use your donut to get over the top of it and all of that, carry on. Aye, that's outside.
Larry, it's good.
Now he's got the wrong angle in the 10 to hold good for the 2, and now he's looking to go, well, I don't know whether he's trying to draw this or run off the end rail, side rail, and up into the table. It looks like he's playing a lot of draw. No, he's got the spin on it, and he's going to go straight if he keeps running. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's going to be amping this up, big stun, and could lock onto the pack with nothing here if he gets anything out of this. No. So, end of visit. The run is 22.
Pegleg_TV.
The lead is 20.
12HUGH not 10 LOL.
28. 1, 2. Or did I say the 10 again? Or the 12? I don't know. Oh, that cue ball's running. Well, here's another bonus for Bankster, because Bankster can pot the 9, and obviously he's going to get a good hit in the pack of balls here. He needs to get a fair weight of shot in this if he wants to run into them and run through with the top to get them open. Well, maybe too much angle, and he's scratched, and he may well have got away with that there, because with ball in hand you can't really comfortably pot that one. It's too tight. Now what's he spotted at the back of the pack? Oh aye, that looks good. So is he going for the 3-ball onto the 15, onto the 6, the 4 and the 14?
Hotman 66. Risky.
Let's look at it from this side. See, the 13 he can see. Why is he not playing the 13? Is he in danger of scratching off the 13? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ball. He's still looking at the 3 to hit it onto that 12. Or the 15, sorry, that one. And in it goes, and the bonus ball goes in as well, and the cue ball is awkward. An awkward little cut in the 3, cut up the table on the 11. Now obviously if he pots the 3, he's going to run straight through off the 1, probably through to the side rail or into that 15, the way the angle looks. Now that'll do it. Now he's got a bailout ball up the table. In fact, he's got 2. How is that 4-ball sitting? I see there's not, again, there's not comfortable room where that 7's sitting to get the 4 in. and open those 3 that's left there. So that's going to be an issue, because there's very little opportunity to get good in that 4 ball. When you get good in the 4 ball, you've got to be here to pot that, and then you do the necessary damage. Well, we'll soon find out if he's looked at that, but he would really need to be dead straight on this 9 ball. He might be dead straight on it now just to kill it stone dead and leave the cut in the 4. Or is he trying to draw into them off this 9? We'll never know until he plays it, but he's going to take... Let's have a look. Well, probably even if he just potted the 9 and run through and come up, he would have still been a better chance of getting on the 4.
MR Shark 4488.
Is he going to try it off here?
There you go, Hugh, lol.
Try and spin off the rail into the bunch off this 11 ball. Get a clip of any description. Well, he needed more than that, and now that's killed any idea. Where he's finished is perfect for playing that 4 ball, but look, that little clip has knocked a 6 into play, and that's blocking everything. So, well, here's a crazy shot. I don't even know that the angle would be there to allow him to do it, but a big boom on this 9 ball needed. He's looking to draw and stun off the rail into them, or trying to get round for a shot. The other side of the 4, well, he tried his best. He still got the cut. And this certainly is going to open him up. All he has to do is pot the ball. And they're all over the place now, and there's no good break ball. I mean, the 6 ball will have to do, and the obvious one for that is that, and then a little bit of check maybe to get into the pack. But you know, anything like this is no really any good. He's got to get that good angle. He wants to be sort of straight enough so that he can make sure he can use the spin to get to the back of the pack, and not too much angle that he's going to struggle to get to the pack. And I think he's gone dead straight. Well, he's going to have to send that 6 ball to the right hand side of the corner pocket, and he's got inside right on it to go around the angles and into the pack, and he's missed him. But it's all to do again with just not getting that good shot and an easy shot to get on that. It wasn't a great break ball, let's be honest. So the run is 14, and Tommyue still, what's that, 14 behind. Well, that's now gone to, it is 14 behind. look around the pack. As he sit there, there's nothing. That needs to slow up. And that is going to give Bankster another free go. Slap bag into this cluster of balls off this shot. Well, I think that 3-ball has just ruined any chance of the cut in the 8. The 3-ball just killed that shot, and Bankster's got nothing here that's easy. He's got nothing at the main end of the table there. There's nothing doing there. He's going to have to play the 14. That's a poor one. So it's only a visit of 1 after having got into the back of the pack there. He was unlucky though with that 3-ball running into the blocking position for the 8. So Tommyue now has a good chance to get rid of the deficit and get into the lead. I've been trying since last night to get to log into my online banking account. I wanted to transfer some money, and I get kicked out when I was putting in my my number. It's like a 12-digit number or whatever it is, and then it asks you for the first letter or the 4th letter or the 6th letter of your password. And I kept getting kicked out, and it's saying, and of course naturally you think it's something you're doing wrong, and so this is late on last night, and then it eventually comes up saying we can no longer deal with you online because it wouldn't let me log in. So I thought, oh, that's me being kicked out because I've had 3 goes or whatever trying to log in. So I gave up last night, and I tried again first thing this morning, exactly the same result, and then of course I'm hunting around looking for the bloody phone number to phone internet banking support. And I phones the number that's on the website that tells you internet banking support, phones the number, ring, gets through. And the guy says, right, what's your details, right, blah 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 blah. And then he says, well, I'm trying to get through to internet banking. It's engaged. Do you want to hold? I says, right, fine. So 15 minutes later, at least 15 minutes later, ring, your call is in the queue, blah 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 blah. Eventually gets through to a guy. And of course I'm thinking, well, why did I phone the internet banking line in the first place when he's not the guy that's going to deal with it, when he actually puts me through to who's supposedly the internet banking? And the guy there says, right, what's your details, this and that. The next thing, oh yeah, we've got a technical problem. We had that yesterday, it was reported. We've had more this morning. The same thing, it's not you that's the problem, it's the website. There's an issue. It should be fixed in a couple of hours. I thought, well, why the hell does that information not get passed on to everybody, where they just tell you that instead of having you hanging on for 15 minutes only to get through to the guy you should have spoke to 15 minutes ago with that phone number, and save you a lot of wasted time. I mean, this is why the country's going to pieces, because you get messed about on these bloody phone lines. No matter who you phone, you get messed about. Press this number, do that number, do the next number. We're too busy, phone back. And see, getting through to Visa, that's even worse. It's been a nightmare in the last year. I was an hour and a half one Sunday afternoon trying to get through to Visa, and that was a nightmare. Anyway, that's me finished moaning. Needless to say, they were correct. There was a problem with the site. I went on to the internet banking about an hour and a half ago and everything was working fine again. And I know some of you have fallen asleep during that rant, but stick with us. Bankster 10 points in the lead, and this match has been going for an hour and it feels like 3 days already.
Pegleg_TV. You can't expect that Hugh is too logical, how dare you?
I mean, that's the crazy thing about it. You know, the other thing he said was the guy that I eventually got through to. He said, yeah, you know, the guy that told me, there's a technical problem, we're hoping to fix it in a couple of hours. I said, now hang on a minute here before you go. I said, I've just spent, 10 minutes trying to get through to the number that says it's the internet banking number, and the guy through there couldn't do anything for me. He was then putting me through to you. I says, do I have to go through that same procedure to get back through to you if this is still the same in 4 or 5 hours time, or do you have a direct number? He says, oh no, see the number that's on the back of your card, that's the number you phone. I says, aye, that's the customer service number, but it's not the one that says it's internet banking thing. You phone the customer services and then you choose option like 2, 3 or whatever to get back through to internet banking again. It's a load of crap. No wonder people get pissed off when they're trying to get a problem solved or get somebody to deal with an issue. You know what the problem is with this, with most companies? Companies don't want to deal with you direct most of the time. They do everything in their power to avoid actually speaking to you, so you're actually talking in plain English to somebody. And no wonder folk get frustrated when they go on the phone, standing for an hour waiting to get through to some guy only to tell you, aye, this is the wrong line, phone this number. I mean, that's garbage. Tommyue 7 behind, and once again not anything that is an ideal break ball. Don't tell me the voice is beginning to go again already. That 3 ball is fairly tight in the rail, so I mean it's off the rail obviously, but you got to really get in a good shape for that one. 4 ball in the pack, and then of course the 2 balls up the table, which certainly make it easy to get on the 3. Well, if he could actually have went right up the table there, he could have got rid of the 7. He can still take the 7, but it's a bit of a tighter angle. How is he going to get good on this 13 though? Let's have a look and see what it looks like. Well, he can go straight off the rail and out. Always look. Oh, he's missed that by a mile. That was poor. He's taking his eye off that pot, worried about getting the cue ball good. And Tommyue's visit is only 4, and he's still not got rid of the deficit, and he's given Bankster, albeit not an easy chance now considering where the balls have finished. Well, here's a question to ponder, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's watching. What should the next big tournament be? I think I heard, or I saw semi-pro typing in the chat, it should be blackball. Back to the toy table stuff. He's got the cut back in the 9. He can cut the 7. He's got a bank in the 6 if he wants it. Now, in fact, looking at that 7, that's a bit tight. Got to cut the 9. He's going to finish in the 2 if he just plays it right, not too hard. That'll do it. Now, he's got a backup ball of the 1 ball. Why doesn't he play the little draw, or why doesn't he play the 2 and run the 10 in and run through for the 7? If you get higher on the 7 than you really want, then the 8 will do, because that can then allow you to disturb them. I think he can still get through the other side here. He just needs to watch the pace. He doesn't want to get too much into this. And that's what I'm talking about. He wanted to finish almost where I'm looking from, to give him a better shot in that 8 if he could. Well, if he's going to pot the 7 but not go into the pack, he needs to make sure he's missing it. So he's going to come down the right side. Well, I don't know what he's played there, because if he's played to get on the 6, he's chickened out. If he's played to hold for the 8, that was asking far too much at that angle. So it's a thin cut in the 1. And again, we have a problem. He's the wrong side of the 6. It's a nasty cut. He's going to be nowhere near the pack, and there's nothing set. There's a there's a cut in the 15.
1158.
That 15 goes, and he's not looking at it. Let's have a look at this combo he's called. Well, that's that 11 ball. I don't like that at all. It's too tight. He's got to be brave. So there's the odd occasion where you just have to be brave enough, but if he gets this, it'll be a good shot, because there's not enough room, and that was a good shot. He just got that perfect. That was really, really tight. And how's his luck? I don't think it's doing too well. Yeah, after all of that, I don't know whether he spent a lot of time looking at the cut angle on that 6, but he's given Tommy a free go here. And the visit is 9. And Bankster's visits need to be more to add the pressure, and it could well be this time. If Tommy can get to a break shot, the 6 ball looks to be, it's going to have to make do. He'll be fortunate to create a break shot here. That 14's not great. Well, stun the 8 in and go up the table to the middle of the table. Get the 14. But I wouldn't want to run into the 4. That'll do it. Now, when you're looking at this 14, you've got to be thinking, right, where am I going to play this 4 ball from to get good in this 6? And again, it's not ideal. Got to leave that angle, and got to be past these middle pockets, and he might have to go 2 rails as well. That's made the 6 more awkward. That 6 ball, is just a millimetre off the rail, but not bad. He's got to go for it full-blooded though. But if he pushes that to the rail too soon, well, he's got the pace in it, so that's done the trick. But again, look at where the cue ball's locked itself. Absolutely no shot. I mean, when it looks as if it's a passable break shot, and the cue ball then, and you get the break and you just get locked up. And he's got no shot here other than the negative safety, as they call it. Just sacrifice the point and take what you've got and run, and leave it up to Bankster to decide. We'll say that again. Leave it up to Bankster to decide what he wants to risk here, because if he just falls into Tommy's trap, he's just going to blast at something. So it's one foul each, and we saw, I think it was the last match, was it? Certainly in the last stream anyway, we saw one 3 foul incident where 18 points went away, and that's now 2 fouls for Tommyue. Now Bankster needs to get wise here and go for 2 fouls as well, which he has done, and Tommyue now has to get to a rail, or get a ball to a rail. And I wonder if Tommy's paying attention. Well, he's got the ball to a rail, and he's still left it pretty safe. There's nothing available. There's an extremely tight cut in the 11 in the middle if you're daft enough to go for that. But don't forget, Bankster's on 2 fouls. And now, can he see the one? Can he see enough of that one? Yes, he can. Yep, he can get the cut. Now he's got to make a better effort at this than he did the last time, because there's a fair few points here up for grabs to build that lead up again. Got to get this pot. So one of the extensions has gone. Oh, he's overcut it. Overcut it. And this time there's enough balls there for Tommyue to get in front. Big pot, that one there. I mean, again, these should all have been Banksters had he got it. And I think this will be the first time Tommyue will have got himself in front in the match. An hour and 10 minutes into it. Well, that 10 ball is definitely no good where it's sitting. High up the table, tight on the rail. It's just a distraction when it's sat there. And we've got a 9 ball that's good. The 15 ball is good to get on that 9 ball. So that, planning that far ahead, that's where he should be. But if he's going to leave the 10 ball to be the ball to get onto that 15 to leave him on the 9, it's maybe not a good idea. So Tommyue into the lead, and just a run through and he'll be on the 4. If he runs through soft enough, he might be on the 8. But in fact, yes, in fact that's the ball he should be playing for, I think. Well, he's going a wee bit further for comfort, so it's going to be the 4, I think. So that now means there's a problem elsewhere. And he's got the wrong angle in the 4 to do anything with these two balls.
Afternoon X.
Good afternoon, Hazad. Welcome. So the issue's not the 10 ball now. The big issue is this couple sitting here. So had he landed better on that 8, he would have got rid of it, and that would have been the problem dealt with. So he's now going to have to use his break ball, and that's now changed the whole situation again. He's got the angle in the 9. Does he think he can squeeze that 8 in? Can he get to that next to the 12? Well, when you look at it from there, it looks as if he can. It's pretty tight. Oh well, that's actually turned out not too bad. That nudge with the 12 on the 9's knocked the 9 out of place, but the 12's filled the spot. So, and the angle he's got now makes it much more simple. See how simple it is to get on a break ball when you pick out the balls the right way. I mean, this is ideal now. Just come back. Well, again, he needed to come back like 2 inches there. He's gone fairly straight. You see, that's what happens. He didn't get enough in it.
And they roll good, lol.
Well, he got a good roll, but he's not made the most of it. And he only needed to draw back 2 inches to give him a bit more of a sharper angle on that pot, on the break shot, and this would have opened a lot better than that, because you couldn't get that momentum and pace into the cue ball, having to stun that break ball in, and he's left himself on nothing. Now he could try and run the 6 in off the 14. That's a bit ambitious. LS3 played, if I remember rightly, was LS3 played a shot in one of her matches that was a cracking shot, played off another ball, and Tommyue's run ends in 14, but it's all down to having, I mean, he could not have asked for a better second last ball to get on that break ball, and then he totally cocked that up by just not drawing the cue ball back 2 inches. A little, one of those stunny draws that I talk about. You let the pace do the draw. You don't dig down into the cue ball. All you do is just put it half a tip below the equator and a little firm jab, and that reaction will still bring the cue ball back those 2 inches. And he didn't play the shot, hence he ended up too straight, then ends up locked to the pack. And Tommyue is messing about here, and well, as long as Bankster just keeps picking off balls, he'll stay in the match. That 2 ball's the one to play. Well, he's got a bailout ball up table, which he should probably take, unless he's good in the 6. Well, the 6 is perfect. You can roll that in, no problem. Emergency escape route up table with a 3 ball. Now, that little angle he has means he can just drop up for the 9 or the 13, but where's the break ball? The 9 could be it. It's right at the corner of the pack almost. We've got those two balls, the 4 and 5 doing nothing. We've got the 7 and 8 doing nothing. So if he can draw off that 13 and just nudge something, he might be able to land on the 7 or the 8 here. Well, that's now created another problem. He can take the 7 and going to have to deal with that 5 and 8 at some point. So bankster only trailing by 3. And for anybody who doesn't know, Larry, who got his high run in his last match, is now slipped down to 10th in the top 10 high runs in the tournament. So he's going to have to put something together in that match against Cobra. He's at risk of dropping off the top 10 list. And I think Tommyue is well on there. What did he finish on? 94 or something,
Larry
was it?
High run don't win tournament.
That's true. But you don't want to go on and win the tournament, Larry, with being 10th on the high run leaderboard. You've got to put in a good show. That's what Eric Bristol used to say. 180s for show, doubles for dough in darts. Well, he certainly doesn't want to pot the 8 and run out and hit the 9
I
ball.
wish I was better at this game. I can seem to aim lol.
Don't run into the 9, whatever you do.
_TV. Can't.
That's now left a slight problem from this end, but from this end, not a problem. So he's going to do that now.
He has it 50. Might see a trackball win this tourney if we're lucky. Potman 66. Can you aim in real life?
That'd be interesting to find out if anybody with a trackball has ever won a virtual pool tournament of any description. I'm talking about big tourneys. I'm willing to bet no. And thereby that's even more
no
proof.
LOL.
More proof to my theory about trackballs and VP4. Throw them in the bin. Well, there goes the break
Potman
shot.
66. Fair enough LOL.
Break ball gone. Oh dear. Well, that's gone from bad to worse, that visit. The visit is only 4, and Tommyue needs to give himself a shakedown here, because he's not getting away from bankster, and Tommyue is the favourite for this match. He can put runs together, and he's faffing about, as we say, and the more you faff about and the deeper into the match you go, then the other factors come into play. He's going to get to a stage where he might have to produce the goods there and then if it begins to get too tight towards the end, and then anything can happen, and it's anybody's game. But he'll certainly play into bankster's hands if he just keeps doing that.
Trackballs are a nightmare. I use a trackball for RSI reasons. Had to buy an ordinary mouse to play VP4.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Again, that's got me started again on trackballs. I still feel you can't get the touch with a trackball that you get with a any cheap mouse that's set properly. I just feel you get a much better feel for a shot in certain shots. But no, I'm willing to bet nobody that's using a trackball has ever. I bet you Albinario's not using a trackball. I bet you Semi-Pro isn't using a trackball. Well, Bankster, his visit is only 2, so we're still a long way from home here in this race to 150. We're already an hour and 25 minutes into it, and I reckon we could be here another hour and 25 minutes the way this is going. Well, that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to get the break in the balls and miss the pot. And if Bankster can just squeeze this, if what ball is it? Is that the 14? If he can squeeze that in and just come off the rail and out, or at least up the table a wee bit, he's got a perfect ball for breaking these open. Well, he might not. Having said that, the 9 ball looks good, but the problem with the 9 ball is you're going to run into the 13, and that's probably going to kill all momentum in getting into the pack.
Larry Jill. Both these guys using trackballs, lol.
Well, let's see what happens here. I mean, the angle is there for the pot on the 9, but he's going to blast into this 13. How much is he disturbing is he going to do these balls though?
He has it 50. That's why they keep missing. Pegleg_TV. LOL.
Oh dear. You've got to get the basics. You've got to pot the ball, and in the end he potted the 13. And that was always what was under threat with the way that 9 ball was sitting, that he couldn't get through to get into the pack, and that's exactly what's happened. He's not only that though, he's missed the 9 ball. He's left Tommyue a dodgy cut in the 10 or the 12, sorry, and he's going to run into either the 8 or catch that corner ball, and he's going to do neither because he's overcut it. And here we go again. Cue ball running, and it scratches, and ball in hand for Bankster. Well, I know what ball I'd be playing. I'd be playing the 8 ball.
Gloria Victus
I'd be calling the 12, playing the 8
Bankster
ball.
played much better than this in the 8BALL tourney last night.
And cracking into the pack.
Trophy, congratulations. You've received 100 messages today with Restream chat. Gloria Victus Jape. Nerves.
Good afternoon, Gloria. Well, it should be the 8 ball for me, with a good
Larry
firm
Angel.
stunt. Call the 15.
He was playing well earlier. Aiming 86-12. Wait, they seriously use trackballs for VP4?
Well, he needs to also rekey his replay.
Larry Angel.
Let's
I do.
tell you guys everything you should be doing. First thing you do when you set up VP4, I'll show you in a minute once he's played this shot. Well, he's got the hit. The first thing you do in VP4, this is for numpties out there, so that you don't keep accidentally hitting the replay button. You do what I do. See where the replay button's been moved to? The backspace button. Then you don't accidentally hit it. That's the first thing you do, and once you've done that, you'll never accidentally hit it again. There you go, that's 9 ball's tip of the day. Well, if only Bankster
50. LOL Hugh.
can put, I mean, there's what, 1, 2, there's an easy combo, 2 10 ball combo sitting in the
Potman
corner
66. I've yet to do that, LOL.
Well, it's the first thing you always do in VP4 is go in, rekey your replay button, and you will never accidentally hit it, because it's too close to where your SW and the usual thing. It's right next to your E.
I use.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter what one you use as long as it's as far away from where your left hand is.
Never occurred to me you could move it.
But like I was saying there, if Bankster can get these balls and just build up that lead again.
LOL, we all learned today.
Well, the main concern I would have is that even though Tommy's on that high run board, the main concern I would have is the big drop in consistency. You know, if he's going to be creating any damage in any further matches, if he survives this one, he has to be scoring. And all this, you know, 4s and 5s is just absolutely no good. So he's got to step up, because I had him as the favourite to win this, but there's been far too much messing about, and no matter what level you play the game at, with straight pool, if there's balls in the open, they're all there to be picked off. And if somehow Bankster can put something together, you know, Tommyue might then begin to feel the pinch. And well, I was going to say the 8 ball would do, but he's just kicked that out of the way, and now we're going to have to rethink again. So the obvious shot is pot the 8. Oops, wrong one, hang on a minute. Pot that 8 ball and leave yourself sort of, if you can, just inside the 7 for the cut, and then the good firm stun into the pack. Well, he's gone a wee bit further inside than you would like, but he has got to stun this in, not top. He's playing this with top, or at least he is at the moment, and I don't like it. It's dangerous doing that. Well, he's clipped the top of the pack. He's got an extremely dodgy cut on the 6, queuing over the 8, and other than that, he's got nothing. And he should have stunned that into the pack. Nice and firm, perfect angle to do it. And now he's going to have to dig himself out a hole with a testy cut in this 6. If he decides, well, he's got it. I was going to say there, if he's going to decide to cut that down, I really need to watch the scratch, but he played it right enough. And the lead is 15. Now, what he wouldn't give for a 30 odd or a 40 odd run here, Bankster. Got to really focus.
12. When you're inside the ball like that, top isn't too dangerous.
Well, I prefer to know where the cue ball's going. That's two different things. When you're running top in the cue ball and it's running along a bank of balls, it's very dangerous to skim off them and scratch. If you play the stun, then you think about it, the only way the cue ball can end up in a pocket is being kicked in.
If you're parallel with it or more toward the center, you really have to avoid top.
The idea of playing the stun shot is, like, for example, when he was there and that object ball was sort of there, and you know the pack is there, then if you play the pot and you play it with a stun, just, you know, half a fraction below the equator, and you hit it firm, and obviously you get the pot, you know the cue ball's going that direction, and you know that it's going to hit the wall of balls, and you're hoping that they're going to open, the likelihood of the cue ball scratching, I think, is a lot slimmer. The only way it probably would go in is getting kicked in. But if you start playing top and you run to the pack, there's a chance at running off the pack and scratching that way. So I would never like to play top. Fortunate for him though, he skimmed off and hit the top of the pack. Doesn't matter though. The run has ended, and Tommyue back at the table again. This time he is trailing by, what, 17? And he can't seem to get himself in front and stay there, and he can't build on it. And he's going to have to dig out this combo to continue. Now, what about this 3 and 9? I don't think.
Gloria Victus Jape. How often do you clean out your trackball, Larry? Personal question, I know.
That 9 ball, I need a bit more convincing that that's going to go. That looks as if it's going too much to the jaw. And the other problem is, look at what he's left. He can't see the 14, and all he's got is that 8 ball.
Every day or two.
And it's another visit that ends with just 4, and this time a nice angle for Bankster just to cut that 8, come down onto the bottom rail for the 14, and as long as he's got the angle, got up the table for that 9 ball, well, he should have come down the left hand side. He needs a nice kiss. He's got it, but in actual fact he's actually got a nice little angle as well. He's running this with left hand English here. This could just spin straight up the table. Well, again, he's just stunned it. He hasn't got to the rail. And again, if you get the technical side of the shots right, you're going to be in better shape than what that is. And of course, he scratched. So the biggest problem Bankster has in progressing his game is technique. That's what's lacking, the technique and how to execute just certain shots.
Gloria Victus Jape.
To be able to get there.
This is a tougher watch than me and Eddie.
So Bankster's got a lot to work on, because the first shot that went wrong was the way he played the 8 ball. There's always a danger when you're coming down that left hand side. If you hit it too hard, you're in danger of scratching, but he had a big margin of error to play that shot right. He got lucky on the 14 by kissing it, but then he couldn't play the right shot to get up for that 9 ball. I think it was the 9 ball I was talking about. And Tommyue this time has got a good break, but is he going to score? He's still 15 behind, and it is all bits and pieces this match. There's been nothing of interest, nothing anywhere near what you'd call a substantial visit. It's all been too little, and we are rapidly approaching an hour and 40 minutes, and we are just halfway.
He is warmed up now.
Well, that's a kiss of death. Is he going to run into these 2 problem balls? He should do. He's got the perfect angle to deal with that. A little chip, that will solve that issue, and everything is wide open. So now it's about wondering where
John
a break
Norris
shot
metal
is.
Sculpture. Anyone fancy a race to 150?
And well, there isn't anything very pretty there to be choosing. The 10 ball might be it, if he can get that far. I'll tell you must be desperate if you're in the stream asking for a match. There can't be anybody in the lobby. Oops. Wrong button, hang on a minute. Well,
John Norris metal sculpture.
There's only 39 people
LOL.
here anyway. Well, there's Stubb, he'll give you a game. He's hiding down the bottom. Well, we've
John
also
Norris metal sculpture.
got another problem.
This is where all the players are.
One ball is dead in the water where it's sat, and obviously the only way to pot that is to get behind it from this side. You ain't going to get good on that one ball from the top side as we look, because you're very likely to try to scratch if you try to play that at any angle. So he's trying to get behind it, I think. And even this is not pretty, because if he just pushes that in too far, he's going to hit that point. And he's still 7 points behind.
Big pocket.
That's fine, that will do. So now the other issue is the 13 ball, because that's awkward to get to the 15 ball. And if he just goes through an inch, he can roll the 15 into the middle and leave that 10 ball as a break shot. Well, that angle is not bad actually in the 15, because he can pot it and go over to this left side for the 2. Which then means he's going to be playing the 13 from the top end of the table to leave himself on that 10. But that hasn't helped the situation. Right on the rail. As long as he's got half a shot on this 13, he should be able to leave the angle on that 10 ball. And I would say that this is an important visit now that he's got this far. He has to build on it. So 2 points behind and looking for a break. Who's playing in the snooker this afternoon? The match will be started. I think he can get clean through to the 13. Yeah. So there's a bit of tidying up to get done here. 11 ball into the middle, just run up for the 8, and then he can get down for the 7 if he wants to do that. But the other one would be if he takes the 8 and just rolls through a tad and leaves that angle on the 2, he
has it 50.
He can play a break
Gilbert
shot
Wilson.
Off the 2. Oh, I was going to say Rod Gilbert, but that's a Welsh comic, innit? Kyron Wilson against what the hell's his name again? Is it? What's his name? I've totally forgotten his name. Gilbert.
He has it 50.
Oh, Dave Gilbert, that's right. Now, you see where he's finishing this 2 ball. He wanted to be there on that 2 ball. That would have been ideal, to play the cut and then just break them out. And now he's almost, and I think he is, he's locked out. Crazy how he just cannot get going. He's going to have to play the long combo. There's nothing else on for him. And this is, again, if you just play it, if you're 100% confident with your line, the 3 ball has to go in. There's such a big margin of error. As long as you get it tracking more or less in line, this pocket will take it at the right pace. And he'll be on the 6.
He has it 50. 1-1.
Oh well, I might at some point see some of the match. God knows how long this is going to finish. Well, that was. Let's just say that was not a good effort. Let's just be diplomatic and say that, because he's got himself 3 points in front. The run is only 20, and Bankster once again comes to the table with balls
Steefook
available.
1158. Pish.
And is he going to run too far, or is he going to hold up? Well, the big cut in this 12 ball, and if he doesn't hit that 6, is he going to try and use the 6? Well, that'll do as well. He landed not too bad, but he needs a good nudge. Well, it's not really turned out that well, but the 14 looks pretty tight. Let's have a closer look. Well, there's no way you're getting on that, and he's running out of balls to get there. I think the cut on that 12 into the corner would have been the shot I would have played. The only risk you take is that you don't get into the pack because you hit the 6, but I think I'd have probably favoured that. Well, there's surely got to be an angle that he can draw off this one and pot it and maybe get a clip on one of them. Is that too much? The more you look at it from that side, the less likely it's on. Yeah. So he's in trouble here unless he can drop behind the 4. And again, he's given himself the opportunity. It can either be the 4 or the 14, but he has to be able to pot one and nudge something. And does that 4 go? That 4 goes. Yeah, he's fine. That'll do. And what's he left himself? Well, he's left himself a break ball. So now the problem is getting rid of the 15 and getting rid of the 5. And the 5 ain't going anywhere until he gets rid of that 15. And I think that well, there is a chance to go around the table and still try and get round for the 15. If he doesn't get good on it, he may well have the 9, but it's a big tall order to risk doing that. He could try and pot the 9 if he can and get to the 5 and just nudge it out. The worst that's going to happen is he's going to be on the 15, and if he misses it completely, well, now he's going to have to do what I'm talking about here. He's going to have to run around the angles and out and up the table. So he needs... This is in danger of scratching as well. If he's going to draw back, he's kicked his break ball out of the way, so that's all gone pear-shaped. And that 5 ball is not pretty, and not, lo and behold, he's missed a 14. Unforgivable. And again, it's only a visit of 8. It does not put the pressure on. And Tommyue's going to have to draw back off this 14. He might have to use 2 rails to get to the pack though. Well, that's clever, because he's now got the break shot, and really he has to really just focus on the pot. He's going to hit the pack. So damage is going to get done. It's all about this pot. Now, has Tommy fallen asleep? Of course, the clock isn't ticking when it's your break shot. Now, is he scared to play it? Because you pick your line and you play the pot.
It's a disco.
Do we think he's gone? It's looking more like it, because I don't see any twitching about the cue. I don't see him lining up anything. It's just sitting there. It may well pop up in a minute that he's gone, but yeah, there's absolutely no movement in the queue. Oh, there we go, he's woke up. Oh, there was somebody at the door.
Der ist nomad. Bog break.
And the cue ball is finished in the bunch, but I think he's got a bailout. He can get the 8. He's got the escape route. Well, if that's where he's leaving the cue tip, he's in the top corner of the cue ball, so he's having to jack up. He's running up the table. He's got the combo. That is going in all the time. It's never going to miss. That 9 ball. I'm surprised this headset thing hasn't cut out again. I haven't. I'm trying not to move anything in case it does take a funny turn, but it seems to be going okay for the time being. So 1 hour and 51 minutes into this match, and we're still more or less all square. 1 point in it, and not a lot to mention about the quality of this game so far. So Tommyue, odds on certainty to be the first player to get to 3 figures, and we've been waiting all match to see whether he's going to produce something. And now's the better time to be doing it, when you're approaching the business end of the match. So we have 2 balls, well 3 if you're really desperate and choose the 2, but the 1 ball is sitting at the head of the pack. That 15 ball, again, that 15 ball I don't like. I don't like that 15 ball as a break shot from that side, simply because the 15's too far away from the rail. I always like the idea of playing it more from inside near the rail to get the break shot there. So the 1's going to go, so it's going to be the 15, but to play it from outside this way, I don't think it's ever great, because that means that your cue balls get further to travel to get to the rail before it then gets to the target area. And that's what he's going to be doing, and he's ended up pretty straight. He's going to have to force this big time to get any joy, and that's the problem. Once again, just not being consistent enough and getting to a break shot, which is the route to success in this game. And not only that, stringing them together rack after rack to put runs together, and it just ain't happening today, folks. And Tommy's visit is over. The run ends on 16 and the lead is slender, it's 11. And Bankster playing that with inside to check the cue ball, but in doing that he's missed the pot. And Tommyue straight away has another great opportunity to pot this 11, or whatever ball it is. Is it the 11? Yep. And he's actually a bit too straight. And to leave the angle, he's going to have to run through so he can get that one. Well, he's gone dead straight in the one, so he's going to do anything here. It's going to be off the 7. He doesn't need to though. He can just get out for the 2, which he's done the right thing, and now he's in prime position for the break. Bonus ball, everything on, break balls in place, but just got to be careful in how he deals with these here, because that 9 balls in the way and the 4 and 5 are sitting awkward, and one of them obviously has to go if he's going to leave one of them as a break shot, but they may well end up not being there in the not too distant future. You might have to think of another way. He's not sitting very great at the moment. Well, I think he can pot that 9 and draw into them. Or is he going to try to drop dead on the 4? That will do. That will do very nicely indeed. And that's now everything set up. So that's that part taken care of. It's now the other most important part is how he gets to that 5 ball. And of course the 13 ball is a problem because it's a blocker for the break shot. So he's got to get rid of that. He's got to get rid of the 2, get rid of the 8, and obviously the 2 ball's the easiest ball to get good on the 3 so that you can get good in the 13. So that's the pattern. But the 13 is going to go now. And again, if he rolls through, he can get rid of the 8 and come over for the 2 and still leave that 3 there as a better ball to get in the 5. Well, there's not an awful lot of thinking needed here. It looks as if he's stunning out for the... oh dear, another really, really poor shot. I mean, the table is wide open. And the run is 9, and the lead is whatever it is, I can't count, 20. Well, that break ball is still sitting there, and well, again, the 2 ball's going to have to go unless he took the cut in the 8. Now, if he takes the cut in the 8, he's not going to hit the 5. And now the easy ball to get on the 5 is going to go. So again, this is all going about the wrong way for my liking. It doesn't look too promising here. He's now left a dodgy cut in the 8 where he needs to get the pace right to come out into the table for the 13. So the cue ball's travelling, and every time you're travelling the cue ball to get to a break shot, you're never, your odds are cut dramatically in getting good on the break shot. He doesn't like this, the 8, so 13's going to go. Well, now it's a firm stun to get back out into the table, but not too far. And he's chickened out, left it way short, and decided he's not taking any risks. The visit ends in 4. He's left it locked up. Well, one thing Bankster has to do is keep things tight. He's took a bit of a risk there. Now Tommyue may well just kick that 12 in, because he'll then be on the 5. It's not a difficult kick. Because he's got a reasonable margin of error. If he kicks it and the ball goes to there, he's still got a strong chance of just clipping the 12 anyway. So there's a fair margin of error, and he's played it like that, and it's worked out. And what's more, if he keeps coming out into the table, he's got half a break shot here. Well, it's asking a lot to get good in the 7 to play it, so he might as well have a blast. He's got to go low and squarish on that 7, and the way he's sitting here isn't going to help him a lot to do that, so he's better off just going for the big hit off this 5. And it's again locked up, and it's end of. And the visit is 2, and I don't think he's going to manufacture anything out of this lot. Well, what's he spotted here? Is he going for the kick? He's going for the kick for the bank on that combo in the 2 and the 3. It looks good to me. He just needs to hit the 3 basically. Well, that's a bonus. That'll do it, but again, well, he's got a bonus ball, but it doesn't really help him. It's a thin one on this 7. Very thin. In fact, the more you look at it, it isn't going to get there. Yeah, he's just trying to lock the cue ball. Well, Tommyue, although he's not scoring great, he's got the 20-point lead again, and he just wants to be able to pick off a few more of these balls given the chance if Bankster can't get this safe. And he might well have to forfeit a point here. He's got the ball to a rail, but he's just left Tommy a starter. That could end up being a big error, especially as we're moving towards the end of the match, but we haven't quite got there yet. But it is an opportunity to rack up some points again. Now this time, off this 7, he has to get this nice and firm and get that cue ball into them. And that will do. And again, he's in business. He's got the choice, ideally I think the 1 or the 9, but it's about getting onto one of them to take one of them out. This might be hard work. I mean, he could pot that 8 into the middle and leave the combo on the 1 and the 9, and if he's straight enough, then the 1 ball won't go far away. It'll more or less kill stone dead. Well, he's not looked at it, and he might regret that shot, because had he played that 8 and played the combo, he gets rid of a problem ball, and he leaves the break shot more or less. He's got another chance to get up the table for it. Needs to slow down though. And now he's playing across the 1 ball if he's going to take the combo, and he's still not doing it. So now it's last chance saloon as far as leaving the decent break shot. That's a better pace. That's a better pace. Now he just doesn't want that 1 ball to squirt away. And if he plays it gentle, he should be able to cut the 11 up the table. Just a gentle shot. Oh dear, it's all gone wrong. 1 ball's the blocker. Just cannot get going. It looks as if he's cutting this up to the top right hand corner, I think. That looks like the shot he's playing. That is a cracking shot. Excellent shot, of course. Unlucky to leave that 11 where it is. It's a thin cut, and he's going to be messing with those jaws in that top left hand corner as we look. He's digging in to make the cut, and he's got the hit. He's avoided the scratch by drawing off the pot, and he's got a ball. Can roll the 15 in or cut that 5 down the rail, and the lead is building up. But it's been painful to watch this match. And now that 4 ball,
aiming 86-12.
a nice firm
Nice
stun
recovery.
again. A nice stun. He's going to hit the... Well, I don't know why he hasn't taken the initiative just to open them up, because it's asking a lot to finish good on the other side of them to be able to pick them off. And he's also still got a problem with those 2 balls on the side there as well. The 13 and is that the 9, they're tied up. He's got another chance off this 6, but if you look at them, they all go if you finish good on this side, but he's going to have to nudge them. And the longer he goes without doing something, the less likelihood he is of getting good on any of them. Especially that he's only got 1 ball over this side. That's a 2 ball. And now he's got a very thin cut in that 13, just could see enough of it. And now it'll be the 10 ball Well, it's a roundabout way of getting there, it has to be said. And what's he done there? That one ball is no good where it's sat, and the 2 ball looks like favourite for the break shot. It's just in the bottom half of the pack, but it's in a good position. So the simplest shot to get on that 2 is either a draw off the 7 up that way, or roll the 7 in this way and leave yourself out in the middle of the table for that 2. So it's now the critical point in the match for Tommyue to finish this off. He's 11 away, and he doesn't want to go dead straight, and he has done. So it's going to be the draw. Well, that's actually not bad. There's a slight angle he can pinch, and he can just draw to the middle of the table. Well, he's gone with the big boom, didn't need it, and now he's left himself dead straight again pretty much. He's going to have to force this to catch the corner, and he's banged a 2 ball out the table. Did that go through the pocket, or did that just bounce off the table? Because that's a bug. No, it went off the table, that's fine. And again, he played that shot. Those last 2 shots, or the second last shot, he played all wrong, because he got far too much draw in it. He just needed to draw to the middle of the table. And why that's not so obvious, staring him in the face, that shot, I don't know what is. That was the match winning.
Tommy pressure. You can't say that went off table, lol.
It did. And why the hell did you draw back so far? You only needed to get to the middle of the table. And so Tommyue 10 points away. He's more or less home and dry here. Just needs to bide his time.
Tommy pressure. Never it was an lol.
Well, that's a point away. Now, nice thin edge and run into the top of the table. Decent pace to get there. Well, he's chickened out again. Got to get up the table, bankster. Well, that's a good safety, even though it's a point away. It doesn't matter. Where the cue ball is more important, and if you can get them like that, it always leaves the incoming player the difficulty of getting a thin hit and not nudging something out. Well, Bankster's trying to get wise. He's sacrificing the point. Now, is that 1 foul or 2 fouls? 1. Well, that's brought the 7 into play. And Bankster now, it's all or nothing. The big hit in the 7. Looking for a shot. And well, that 14 goes into the middle off the jaw. He can use the gap there to get that 14 in, no problem, because he's got nothing else. He's got an easy, well, I'm going to say easy combo into the middle. It looks reasonably okay, but just a roll through and he should be on the 13 or the 12, and he can use that jaw. He's got plenty of room to get this in. Now he's going to have to play the combo then. Yep. It's a dodgy cut in the 13 or the 11. It's 11, but the combo's on. Well, we'll see if Tommy's still laughing at the end of this visit, because Bankster has a chance to win the match. He is 39 points behind though, so it's a tall order, bearing in mind the standard of play we've seen so far. So the likelihood of it happening is fairly slim, but the likelihood is always there. And it might not be now, because I think he's dead. He's got a shot he has to go for. He's got no other option, I don't think. I mean, he could just run to safety if he wants, but this might be his one and only last chance that he'll get. And he hasn't done too well in the cuts, but he's got that one. And now he's got the shot that can open him up on the 12. And he's not looking at it, not even giving it a second thought. Now, of course, we know that the 4 ball goes. If you can get good in it, you can still open them up. And this shot that he's got here, though, he's too close to the rail for comfort. So the shot he's going back to is the one we talked about. Playing the 12 and run into them.
What a price bankster to run out from here. Feels quite big given what has gone before.
Well, he's not given us any clue that he's capable of doing it. Not from what we've seen so far. It's been absolute. We've seen nothing from him. But if we're going to see something, it's the perfect situation to do it.
Aiming 86-12. That was a bizarre reaction from that pocket.
It was just purely the pace that did it. I thought for a second, because it all happened so quick, I thought it had went through the pocket, which would then be
aiming 86-12.
A bug that we had in the game
the ball
right
straight
at the start.
without jacking up, and the pocket just spit it on the floor. Der ist nomad. 150-1.
Well, I would say the odds are slightly narrower than that, in terms of being able to run out, because you know, if he
Gloria Victus Jape.
If he keeps it together,
I'll have some of the 150/1 if you're offering with.
There's always a possibility.
John Norris metal sculpture. I'm in. $5.
Well, he's got himself into triple figures, so at least the margin doesn't look quite as great. But it's all about these next shots. These are going to decide whether he's going to get into another rack or not. And he's dead straight in the 6, so he needs to come back 2 or 3 inches, take one of them out that's up there, that 2 or the 1, the 1 or the 10, get rid of one of them. And the other issue then is to make sure he's made his mind up that the 2 ball's going to be the break shot, if he's going to leave it there. So then it would be the 1 ball or the 4, whichever he's going to leave, to get himself a high angle in that too.
John Norris metal sculpture. Nothing left to lose now, it's clear up or lose. Sometimes that takes the pressure off. Paul Hunter showed that many times. I think it's 10-1.
Well, he's 30 behind, and now the cue ball's going to be running loose off this 4 ball. This is where it's likely to go wrong, because he's got to get on the 1 in such a way that he can get to the 2, and that will do. So now he's got to leave himself high on the 2, and he's got to be like there at least to pot that and make sure it gets into them. And again, he's done it all the wrong way. If he was trying to get low in the 2, he hasn't got there, and he just hasn't thought of just killing the cue ball to leave it high. And now it's all going to peter out once again, just because it's bad shot choice. Shot choice there was all wrong. Much easier to finish high in the ball than trying to run through and finish closer to the rail to try and stun it in from
Potman 66.
below the pack.
Did Hunter win a world title? I can't remember.
No, he won the Masters 2 years in a row. That was his claim to fame. Or was it 2 years in a row? Certainly, he won the Masters more than once, put it that way.
John Norris medal sculpture. He won the Masters many times, twice from like 8-1 back.
So, Bankster on Nelson, 1-1-1, 27 behind. Tommyue's pushed the 8 up the table.
Gloria Victus Jape. I was quite young when he was on the scene, but I remember thinking Hunter was a massive bottler, then he pulled a load of amazing comebacks. Gloria Victus Jape. Great snooker judge I am, laughing face, Aiming 86-12. I learned that playing a 9-ball match race to 9 against a guy I know well, and normally have to give a small spot to. I got up 8-5 going to 9. Aiming 86-12. And he said, all I have to do is play now, I've already lost the match. I said, I love you thinking like that. Aiming 86-12. And then he beat me 9-8.
Well, I'm afraid that was not a great shot, Bankster. That was really poor. I mean, the first thing you do is look at the back of the pack and see that that 11 goes up the table, and then clearly he hasn't bothered, and all he's done is push the cue ball into play in a decent line in the 11. So it's up the table for that 8 ball and try and leave himself an angle, but he's going to be dead straight, so once again very unlikely to do any damage here. Straight into the pocket. So 28 points behind for Bankster. Now, has he looked at the pack? Is there any possibility in this pack? Not really. So he's got to get a decent safety. And they're very tight together, these, so if you nudge something too heavily, you're going to easily nudge something into play. Now that clip in the 5 looks alright because the 6 ball is already away
Gloria
from them,
Victus
so
Jape.
Tommy can
I
get
like
distance.
the Hunter Plan B story. Deist Nomad. Hunter won 3x Masters and 3 other ranking events.
I knew he'd won it twice. I couldn't remember whether he'd won it 3 times. He certainly won it twice in a row. Now, are we talking about the story that I think I know about Hunter, where he was really behind, and I don't know whether it was his girlfriend or his wife at the time, but she gave him a good C and 2 in the interval, apparently. That's what I heard, or that's the sort of rumour or story that I heard. That's a good shot. And then he came out for the remaining part of the session and he was all fired up.
John Norris medal sculpture. He credited his missus. John Norris medal sculpture.
Yeah.
LOL. Gloria Victus Jape.
Yeah.
That's the one. Plan B. Onk.
She was chalking his cue in the mid-session
John
interval.
Norris medal sculpture. Yeah, he said it on the TV interview. She went red LOL.
I wonder whether he needed an extension. That's the question I would be asking. Well, in theory, the next mistake could be the match for either player. It's more likely to be for Tommyue than it is Bankster, but that possibility is still on. Now what we need to do is to keep an eye on this pack, because balls are getting nudged. Things might end up getting set. and there isn't anything there at the moment. Well, now what about that 12 ball? No, he can't get to it. And not advisable to cut the 12
Gloria
onto the
Victus
7.
Jape. 5 billiard off 15, into corner from certain angles.
Well, Tommyue's taking a risk there. You can see the 3. Now he could pot the 3 and get up the table for whatever ball that is up the table, and then leave himself the angle in the 7 to get into them, but he's looking at the 7. He's also then thinking of it leaving the 3 for a similar shot. In fact, the 3 looks better if he can get there, but the awkward thing is getting rid of the 7. So I think he's going to have to, well, it's a cut into the middle, but it is not easy. Cue ball's going to squirt up the table, and he might run too far past that 12 ball. So good luck with this one. Well, you've got to be brave. You've got to be brave, bankster. Get the line on that 7 ball and give it a good firm bop to get into them. And how's the cue ball? Well, he's okay. He's got a bailout anyway. He's on the 15 at the back of the bunch. He's on the 8. He's on the 1 as well, I think. But he's also got that 13 up the table. So, a chance for more points. Well, that 8 ball seriously thought about going in there. Eventually went in. And now Tommyue's sphincter muscles are tightening slightly. I can actually hear them creaking right now. It's squeaky bum time, folks. Bankster 25 behind, and they're all sitting there to be picked off. Well, he's going to have to take the 5 and just gently drop it in and get rid of that 13, because that 13 worries me where it's sitting. The longer it sits there. In fact, he's probably got too much angle to hold nice for it. But again, perfect opportunity. Drop the 15 in and get rid of that 13. Do it now or pay the price later, I'm afraid. He's got the 9 as a break ball. 13 still sitting there. That's bugging me even more. The more shots he plays and the longer he leaves it there. But he could be going, well, he may well end up having to go 13, 12 then on to the 9. But the 6 ball's in the way, so that's got to get dealt with as well. And he's running out of shots here. I'm panicking for him because I think he's doing his best to end up in a mess here. He can come across from the 10 to go on the 6. And now he's taking the 13, but the problem is he hasn't dealt with the 6 ball yet. This may well end up going pear shape as well, because he's surely not going to leave the 6 and the 9 as a combo, and he might end up having to. He may well end up having to take the 9 going just into the rail at the top end of the table.
9 then behind the 6 for the break.
Well, he's got his own way of doing it, but it's going to have to be the 9. So the major failure here is blocked himself off, so he just needs to roll this in and get onto the rail and get up the table. That is a priority. Up and into the middle of the table to give him half a chance, or somehow get in line with this 6 ball. Look where we're looking right now. Well, he's checked it, and again it's going too far because it's going to end up straighter and straighter and less of a chance of getting damage done here. Get the amp on. Big stunt. It looks as if he's trying to run around the corner again. Yeah, that's always going to happen. So, again, I'm going to say it. The choice of the remaining balls there was why it all ended up going wrong. Didn't get rid of the 6 earlier on in that rack. If he had made the decision that that 9 ball was going to be the break ball, then he had to work around those. And then he left that 13 ball in the left rail too late. He should have taken that way earlier in the rack, and that's why his run ends in 13 and he's still 16 behind. And that is not a great one either. Is that 11 out? He's okay. So one more mistake. The 11 ball still covered. 2 ball, he can't see it. Well, he can't see enough of it to do anything with it, but that's got to be played well. So now there's a ball in the open, so there's no safety at the top of the table. When I say the top of the table, it's actually the bottom of the table, but it's the top as we look. An easy cut up the table in the 2, bring the cue ball back in behind the pack. The 2 balls got a free run up the table. Well, that would be the shot to play because it's easy enough to get back to the pack. You know how confident a player is with their control of the cue ball when he's thinking about that. He's looking at the 2 now. Let's see what the pace is like. He's got a touch of a sledgehammer. That was poor. And Tommy is going to go for it. The cut in the 2, run down the table and try and get a hit in the pack. But bankster's touch is another thing he needs to work on. And the execution of the shots. But it's a bit late in the day to work on it, I'm afraid, because Tommyue used 12 away, and if he can get a hit here, he could
John
be home
Norris
and dry.
Metal Sculpture. In off. Sunger's shot.
Well, he's tried to get it thin, but he's got it all wrong. And Tommyue has given Bankster a shot.
John Norris Metal Sculpture. Slash gotta go 2 rails. Not sure it's on.
That 15 is tight, but it goes. But the angle in the 2 is maybe too much to leave a shot in that 15. But apart from that, he's not going to much else. Well, he's nudged the 15, that will do it. There isn't anything else available. 11 stuck in the rail. He's got the hit and he's run off the back of the pack and scratched. And Tommyue now has the chance to finish this match off. That ball was never in a great position, but he had to take the risk. And with that scratch,
66 FS.
That may well be it. And it looks like Tommy's drawing back for the 1 to get the breakout here. That looks like the shot to me, if the 1 goes, that is. Well, once again, he's not got into it, he's not come back far enough. Says that needed to come back up the table 6 or 7 inches and it'd have been perfect in the 1. Now 7 ball. Going for the big hit again, is he? No, out into the table. If it keeps going, that 12 ball is a shot. He's 9 away. So the draw off the 3, leave himself the angle in the 12. And this will decide the match. Well, we'll have a quick look at the bracket once this is over, just for a final update. Don't tell me he's a nothing. I think he's a nothing here. Unbelievable. He's got no shot. I mean, you look at that 15, that's so difficult to read the cutting angle, but it does squeeze past the 5. But it's tight. It's very tight for that to miss the 5 and go in, especially with his queuing. So he's absolutely he's backed into a corner here. He's 7 away. Bankster 21 points behind. Now he hasn't called anything, he's just looking to get behind this cluster of balls to keep it safe. And he may well have done. Well, Bankster, you've got to cut the 14. It's all or nothing. And he may well not have a shot either when he plays this. If he gets this 14, that cue ball's got to go across the table, off the other rail and back out to have a shot in the 5. And he's overcut the 14. No real alternative unless he wanted to just sacrifice points and play a deliberate foul. Well, I thought this match would have been finished an hour ago if Tommyue was playing to any half decent standard. But we are now, what the hell time's that? When did we start? 12 o'clock. We are 2 hours and 36 minutes into this match. In a race to 150. Now, can he see the 13? He can certainly see the 4. It goes. Now if he takes the 4 though, he can probably nudge into them. Yeah, he's missed them. Where's the cue ball going? Well, it's another one. This will be the break shot to open the remaining balls that he needs. Well, that's no good. He's got a thin one in the 9. Those 2 balls aren't set. He's going to have to go up the table and get straightish on the 5 ball if he's going to be able to roll through for one of them. Because he needs one of them. Well, that's going all over the place. Well, he's got to go end rail, stun that in, end rail, and maybe a wee bit of inside. That's going to go too narrow to start with. That was the problem with that shot. He needed to stun it square and so that the English would bring him shallower rather than going so sharp at the top end. But this, for the match, the cut in the 8.
Gloria Victus
it's a 4 he's going for.
Tough one for match ball.
Because the 8 ball is in the triangle, so there's nothing left here for Bankster. If he misses this, there's no break shot. Well, there might be now if Bankster can pot the 8, because that 4 ball is ideal. If you can get this side of the table, get the thin cut, the cue ball's got to blast into the pack, but it's going to blast into the back of the pack if it comes to it. So Tommyue one away. And that, again, he's got to hit it. He's in the triangle, that's a bonus. I never even noticed there. That's excellent. He's finished in the triangle. And now he's got every opportunity to get a hit. But watch the cue ball off the back of these balls. Let's see where it ends up.
Gloria Victus Jape. Don't think he played for that.
It spun into the pocket. Game over. That's always going to happen. And you don't want to be hitting the back of the pack. And so Tommyue wins the match by 150 to 122. And that
Potman
was
66.
That's
was cruel.
Bankster's last chance. It was always on the cards, that shot.
Aiming 86-12. Oof.
Always likely to happen. There's a big risk with power, but Tommyue has gone through, and he has won by 150 to 122. Quick look at the bracket.
John Norris medal sculpture. Right, who wants a match to 150?
Let's have a look.
Aiming 86-12.
At the bracket.
It really was.
So Tommyue is through. Now,
Tommy Pressure
is set to play
Entertainment Pure.
McClarkey.
Aiming 86-12.
And he's going
What's
to have to
your
step
VP
up
or
his
name?
game.
John Norris medal sculpture. Fantastic MR Fox.
Got to step up the game if he's going to progress past McClarkey in his next match. So that is the top half of the bracket on the one loss side, and then obviously somebody is going to come through from that winner's side.
Dea is Nomad.
Further down,
TH Extreme Wash Hands.
we've got LS3 against Albinario. That is going to be on, I believe, Saturday night, and that is at 9 PM, so I'll be able to watch the start of it. I won't be streaming it because it's too late. And then the other one I won't be streaming either is the one between Stubb and Mr. Bill. That's on the same night, but it's at midnight GMT. That is January the 16th. And over on the winner's side, not a lot going to happen there until we have the match between Larry and Cobra, and that match is set for Saturday as well, which I'm going to have, and that is starting at 7 PM, folks. So Saturday night. That's it. What the hell's today's date? I'm losing track. I'm sure it's Saturday night, but Saturday night at 7 PM is Larry and Cobra in a race to 200 to see who gets to the hot seat match with semi-pro. So that's to come. So there'll be 3 matches on Saturday, 2 of which I won't get, but the big one, the match between Larry and Cobra at 7 PM. So with that, folks, I'm off for a coffee, watch a bit of the snooker, and I will see you again hopefully at the weekend. So till we meet again, thank you all for watching. Thanks for your company. Take care, stay safe, chalk your cue, wear your mask, keep your distance, and whatever else, and I will see you again soon.